I hope you're well this afternoon. Probably have a few people trickle in as I start, but I will begin because I know time is of the essence for everybody at lunchtime. So thanks so much for being with us today. So I'm going to here to talk to you as parents and carers of students, of young McGill students who are starting this year. And I'm here to speak to you about engaging in career conversations and guiding you to supporting your students with their career readiness. So I'll just go through quickly what our aims are for this afternoon. I'm going to talk about CaPS. I'm going to talk about who I am and what we do and who we are and what we do. So the career planning service team at McGill, how you can better support young adults in their career journey, have career conversations with the young adults in your life, how to gain valuable experience, how they can gain valuable experiences of the workplace while they're still in school, learn about some useful career resources, understand the influential role you play, and how to be a career ally. And I know we are collecting questions in the chat, so you can ask questions there and I'll be happy to answer them at the end of the presentation. So who are we? We are McGill's Career Planning Service team. My name is Susan Ajersch. I'm the Associate Director here at CaPS. I'm in charge of career and professional development. So all of the programming and the career advisors and the skill advisors on our teams work with me directly in terms of the programming and what we have to offer for our McGill students. So our job really is to help students make connections between education and skills and the world of work. So really, this is what we do. We're here for students from undergrad all the way up until postdoc. So our service is for all undergrad and graduate students. We're really here to help them through career education and exploration, experiential learning, which I'm going to talk to a little bit about later, and reflection and how critical they are to helping our students. It really makes them have connections between their studies and the world of work, helps to identify potential career paths, identify their strengths, their weaknesses, their interests, their values, and really about making meaning of their experiences and making the connections between some of those experiences that they're having in order for them to be career ready. So just to start a little bit, as we keep talking about what CaPS is and who we are, is really, here's a list of some of the main reasons why the students come to us for visits. So a lot of it is, you know, what can I do with a degree in this major? What can I do with my studies? So choosing majors, making the link between their interests, making their link between career options, what are the industries, what are the types of jobs or roles that I could be searching for that might be related to what I'm studying. We also talk about, you know, how to find jobs and internships so that the advisors or the people in the front or our employee relations team work with them about how they can find a job and what are the platforms that we have on site for them to find these jobs. Interview preparation and practice. So we offer a lot of that in terms of just interview for jobs. Sometimes it's knowing that they're going for an interview for med school or different things like that. Resume and cover letter review. So we do that. We also do personal statements. Encouragement and reassurance really is important. I think all of our staff here have experience as career professionals and have had a vast, actually we have a team with a vast, diverse team, I should say, of career advisors and skill advisors that can provide a lot of encouragement and reassurance in terms of the experience and the works that they've already had throughout their career for our students. So the reason why we have this presentation for parents and carers is really about educating you also on, what the changing world of work is. What is the future of work? And especially coming out of a pandemic, still in a pandemic, is trying to figure out what that means. And everything has shifted and everything is still shifting. And it's something that we stay, on top of. But these are a lot of the questions that we get from the students, which I'm sure are also coming from parents, and I'm a parent myself. So I will put these in the chat, even though we don't have to answer them now, but I'd like to know if there are any, questions that you might have. What concerns do you have for your child or the student, the McGill student that you're here for, in terms of the world of work? So some of the questions we asked ourselves are, do young people have the same concerns about the future, about their future? Are they the same concerns that I might have had growing up? What was work like for you growing up? Is that different now? Yes, likely it is. It will be too as they go through this changing environment of the world of work. What will work be like for young people today? So part of the conversation we're having today is to prepare you to have these types of career conversations with your McGill student, with your young adult. A lot of them come up to us with these types of questions when they're new to CaPS and they're really in that exploratory phase. Do they have a career direction? Oh, they have no career direction. There's too many choices. So making that career decision can be really paralyzing. Are they too narrow focused? Do they need to think a little bit more about what that journey is going to look like? Will their studies pay off? What is this major, this degree? Is it really going to be, is it going to align with an expectation that they have? Is there too much focus on other things like grades, for example? So these are the types of questions that come to us, and there's some of the questions that I put out to you as a parent as well, in terms of where some of these conversations can go with student. So next slide is really talking about what we know about the new world of work. So it's really important to understand that right now there are a lot of changes within what we've grown up through, what you've grown up through in terms of the world of work post COVID-19 as well, that there are shifts in how we live and how we work. Digitization and globalization have really accounted for some of those shifts and the changes in the labor market. I just have moved my slide, sorry. So there's a lot more collaborative project work, online collaborations, those type of things. Again, I bring up automation. Not necessarily in the human cognitive skills, even though AI is continuously developing, but there is a lot more of that happening, as we know, in terms of innovation. The labor market is transforming. It's going to continue to transform in the next, in the next few years, that's for sure. There's really still this emphasis on that continuous lifelong learning and the continuous self-improvement, even if it just means that you're self-training or that you're on LinkedIn learning different types of things as you're doing a degree, and that you're learning all these other skills to help in that part of the continuous learning stages of it. And there's also, again, still this design thinking aspect to work life, into an implementation and an output of ideas and that sort of thing. So these are just some things to keep in mind as we talk about this shift that these students are going to go through as they go through McGill and as they continue out after graduation and they're looking for work in the future. So what do we really do otherwise at CaPS? And it's really, in order to prepare our students to go forward into working, into graduating and applying to jobs and finding something that's a first job experience for them, it's really about how we prepare our students to develop that career readiness. So what does that even mean? And I'm going to get to a slide further on about how a student in a first year versus graduating student, how they go through the process of this developing their career readiness. So it really is that there's skills that are outside their mainstream curriculum. So there's stuff that they're going to learn in class in the curriculum that are going to help to develop them regardless, but that there's young people that learn new skills that they're going to achieve their goals, okay, in life, and to hopefully meet some of the skills that I'm going to present on the next slide that employers are really seeking for in new hires. So we've based a lot of our work in the office around these skills that are based on a framework that we call career competency skills. And we offer all sorts of options and workshops where students can continue to develop these skills outside of the classroom. So here's a really brief slide. I'm not going to go into detail on each one of these, but these are basically, there's research behind these 8 career skills that employers really seek when they hire. So problem solving, communication. So communication could be oral, and nonverbal, all sorts of forms of different styles of communication. Collaboration, we talked about, that's again a very high level skill now that comes up in any job posting. Digital technology, so again, here we go to automation, digitization, innovation. Leadership, we have a great student leadership program that runs through our office about learning how to lead, or leading through learning. So that's something too that we offer that's more specified for students to gain leadership skills. Professionalism, career management, development, and equity and inclusion. So all of these are built into our programming for the students and in the workshops we offer, and when they see an advisor or a skills specialist and they have questions in terms of building and developing these career readiness skills. So how else do we help them, or how do they help themselves to develop and refine these types of skills? It really is through what we call experiential learning opportunities. And I know that that's kind of, a pretty vast word, but these types of experience are really in line with what they do in class, and there are programs at McGill that offer opportunities within their programs, but McGill is not necessarily a cooperative institution. So students often have to seek out a lot of these types of opportunities on their own. So CaPS is also here to help facilitate that. So these are the types of things that really help students to refine these types of skills. So it could be an internship, and there are studies showing, probably the top 3 are volunteering, an internship, and any type of, other part-time job are the 3 that would be really beneficial in the future towards retaining and gaining employment and defining and refining skills. So some of those are listed there. So we've got internships, volunteer experiences are what we put under these, paid experiences. So, we very much encourage that all of our types of experiences that come through our office are paid experiences for our students. Entrepreneurial activities, so it could be something that they do as a co-curricular activity. They join a group that's doing some sort of entrepreneurial competition. and skill building workshops. So these are also workshops that we offer, and there's plenty across the university that the students can participate in as well. So that just gives you a bit of an idea of how they can develop and refine these types of skills. Okay, don't want to be speaking too quickly here. Okay. Now the reason why I have this here is because everything that we've been doing with the students and most curriculums now, I think, based across the university, is really about incorporating a reflective practice, just meaning that if you take time to reflect about your experience or to reflect a little bit more and ask yourself a couple of questions about how something went, even if it's just within a course or an exam, or for us it would be that first work experience, or maybe that meeting with an advisor, or maybe that I had a part-time job. These really help students make sense of an experience, and that's what's really important in terms of them being able to eventually take action on something or set a goal or change their mind. It's about also figuring out what I don't like versus what I might have liked, and being able to say, well, actually I really had this expectation for this first job experience that was like over here, and it didn't turn out as it seems, but now I realize that okay, I don't fit into this type of work environment, or I can't be on my feet for this many hours a day, or that sort of thing. So we really incorporate that in our workshops, in our programming when we present to different faculties, and that sort of thing. So it's really about helping a student make sense of an experience, but it also is really important in them understanding who they are, in figuring out a lot of those career and self-exploration type of questions. So I have some up there, it's about knowing themselves. Who am I? What do I want to do? So sometimes it's through doing a reflection through an assessment. So we do offer assessments through our career office, where they can make an appointment with a certified advisor in terms of assessing some vocational skills, and that can be done through our office for a fee. So then they would get the documentation back, and they would sit with an advisor and be able to have a deeper reflective experience. So there's asking for feedback. So again, this is where you as carers and parents can come in. They would like some feedback. Maybe there's something about them that they'd be curious to see if you've picked up on. You do know them better than anybody else. So it's really important that you share some of that feedback with your child or your young McGillian. Assessing aspects of a work or an internship. So that's kind of the first example that I gave. That's the one that came right to my mind is, we really work with students when they have that experience and figuring out, what they liked or disliked, and speaking to career professionals and identifying similarities. So it could be that I had an experience or that I have an interest in something, but did you know that there's like a list of 100 other job titles that could fit in very simply into that? Or there's a different, this many different job search engines that could fit under what you're interested in, or what your values and your strengths and your interests are after you've done that reflection. And I'm going to show you how to find that, and we're going to figure it out together. So it really is learning about all of that, but doing it through a reflective practice. So you can see how that all leads to being able to take action, which is what I said at the beginning. It's really about taking the action, doing a job shadowing. Okay, now I feel like I'm going to join the mentor program, or I'm going to come to this workshop, or I'm going to go to this networking event or this career fair. So that just kind of gives you the idea behind how we base, our programming, and how we base it on, valid research and data behind what we know is effective in terms of getting our students career ready for when they graduate. So a few more examples I'd like to share here about experiential learning at McGill, because it really is something that we highly encourage our students to participate in, especially in that it is a co-curricular experience for them. So here's some more examples. Community engagement and volunteering. So these are things too you can help to remind your students of. Obviously the first semester is going to be very overwhelming, but as time goes on, you'll see that maybe you'll be reminded of this presentation and you'll be able to say, oh, I remember hearing about some opportunities. So there's internships, there's practica or co-op opportunities. Most of them are through specific programs or specific faculties. So you'd have to really do your research on where these are offered. But obviously anything that is open to all students would get posted through our job site here at CaPS. Undergraduate research opportunities, so there's opportunities for students to volunteer in research labs and get a little bit of experience through that. Student organizations, so there's tons of student groups that do extracurricular things there's also student government, so depending on if they have a common interest, these sort of things, they can find a student group or an organization that may share already that common interest or common defining property or characteristic about a student, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of those opportunities. Field study, that depends on the program you're in. Entrepreneurial competitions, which I talked a little bit about before. Sometimes there's in-course capstone projects. So at the last year of their degree, they might have an honors project or an honors thesis that they would have to write, do a little research project and write a report about. So that depends on the program. Applied student research or an independent study. There's also an opportunity for students to have exchanges or study abroad, which is again a totally different kind of experiential learning. A lot of skills that also go in with that about discovering oneself, discovering how to be professional, how to adapt, that sort of thing. And we also have part-time and summer work. So there are experiences, there's on-campus jobs, there's off-campus jobs, there's also summer opportunities, and we offer students workshops and different things in order to help them find these opportunities, and they come up at different times of the year, so we kind of target that depending on what time of year these types of work opportunities are happening, and then we offer programming that kind of sync into that for our students. All right, so I'm going to shift it back over to you as carers and parents of young adults. And why, again, I'm here to talk to you about the importance of your role, and I'm going to use the term, influencer. So I know you're not, necessarily, like these Instagram and TikTok kind of influencers, but you are the primary influence, one of them, to your student and your child, the child that you care for, and you really know so much about them, and there's so much you have to offer in terms of starting these conversations and aiding and guiding them and becoming an ally as they go through searching and exploring and figuring out where they want to go and who they want to be post graduation. So just keep that in mind as to really being that influence. It's really the top three influencers are the parents, the peers, and the professors. So they might meet this professor that's like that gold shining star. It's going to take them by the hand and show them something that you wouldn't be able to. But don't forget that how important your role is as the parent or the carer for that student in terms of having these conversations. And there really is a complexity, and there's going to be a competitiveness that's going to continue with the labor market. It is in flux right now, but it's something that we need to, you need to be able to coach your student through, or your young person through. No doubt that a university degree or education is going to be a solid foundation, but it's also important to remind them about building skills that are going to be important for the workforce outside of the school system, okay? So I've just put up here, you know, a few things that you could do to help to coach and encourage your student. And it also includes other than these. So I'll go through them and then I'll talk about a few other ones. So it's really encouraging open-mindedness for work and career paths, discussing their passions. You know, we do workshops here, we put that up on our whiteboard, you know, what did you want to be when you grew up, you know, and it's so nice to hear. And then you see that some people, like, obviously they did a 180 and are doing something completely different, but then there's people who have a lot of things that are very similar to what they dreamed about being, you know, when they were little, or that they still do something like that as part of a hobby or something else. But then we have to remember that there's skills that are associated with still that hobby that they can pull out in terms of what, let's say, writing a CV or going to an interview or these sort of things. So just some tips for you as you have these conversations. Learning, again, I talked about that continuous learning. It's always going to be there, I think, and it's always good to encourage them to continue doing that. To talk about the possibilities and be positive. It really is, you don't want to turn exploration and career development into something negative. It's something that we've all gone through. You know, we've had many jobs. They're going to have many jobs and opportunities, and we want to try to remain positive about that. There's a flexibility to that conversation, and that they can continue to explore. And that's really important, especially during the job search process. And it's important to listen to their ideas and their concerns, but also don't take responsibility for the process for them. You want them to go through that process themselves or to come to us for support in that. So I will continue along. So this is just a little visual, kind of repeating a lot of what I've said before, but this might be one that you want to kind of think about in terms of a summary of what we've talked about. Really is assuring them that they're not making a decision for the rest of their lives, okay? Career change is normal. It is the norm right now, and that's still a myth. So when I spoke last year to students still in high school coming in, you know, some of them still were hesitant about that, but a lot of them are starting to realize, you know, that it is true, that career change is the norm. We have to continue to listen empathetically. You have to be supportive, but you don't have to have all the answers. That's what we're here for too, as well. So, you know, it's just bringing them back to the right services and the right resources, getting involved, helping them explore. Getting involved also means for them, so encourage them to seek out an internship or to volunteer somewhere and do different things. And then skill building, you know, it's really about thinking about what additional skills that they're going to be learning that they can add to their toolkit. So what else can they do to add to that toolkit, and then help them reflect upon any challenges that might come with that. And then the last one is know your services. So know where they can go for additional help, refer them. You can connect them with somebody you know in an industry. There's also that. And then, of course, you can encourage them to visit us. So those are just a few slides on some coaching tips for you when thinking about having these career conversations about the future, about their future. So I spoke before about the student life cycle, and I said I had a slide about it. And looking back now, I probably should have put it over there, but it doesn't matter. When I talked about when the students come in to see us and what are some of the questions that they're asking us, well, really what they're asking us, I could say like 9 times out of 10, and my colleagues would agree with me, is that they do tend to follow follow this this 4-year plan that I have over here under the academic environment. And so this is really what we see, but we really want to encourage those first-year students to come by once at least and have a chat. They don't have to have an idea yet, you know, to not put it off until year 4 where you see that they're more focused, okay? And I think that's where McGill and our centers, our service is really working on, is like, how can we get our students to come and see us before the last year, before they're starting to apply for jobs and they're panicking, and or they want to go to grad school and they're really not sure if they really want to go to grad school, these sort of things. So let's start that exploration in year 1. So we've got year 1 is where they come to explore. Year 2, they start to discover, they start to do a little bit more refinement in their career readiness, in their career development. Year 3, they start to plan. Okay, oh gosh, graduation's coming. I really need to like really hone in on what I can do with my studies, and you know, what kind of job titles I'm going to be looking for. Do I really want to go to grad school? And then in year 4, they tend to focus. And they're getting stressed about it because, you know, maybe they should have focused a little bit more in year 1 and year 2 and tried some different internships or tried a few things out or gotten a few different types of part-time jobs to help them figure out what they like or don't like. And then the graduation is when they start to really apply to things, and they've never written a CV before or a cover letter or had an interview. Well, that's very stressful for a parent, for a student. So it's really important to start them off with small experiences and going through these processes as they go through their years at McGill. And it may just be as simple as they do a volunteer experience, but in that volunteer experience, they had to fill out an application form, and they had to do a little interview, and then they had to show up at a certain time and get an orientation and do a little job. You know, these are all really helpful in also relieving the anxiety that goes with applying and finding work and figuring out where they're going to be or what they're going to have to do when they get to graduation. Okay, so this is just an idea of our student life cycle. And so on the other side, you see my other student who's waving, and a really way of doing this is doing stuff outside of the class. And what is that? So there's the reflection side, there's the thinking about your values, your interests, your strengths, writing them down, working with an advisor about that. Then you have this academic experience, which you're getting, and then you have your co-curricular experiences or your internships. So all of that is under that. I could just put that under one as your experiential learning component, and all of that happens outside of the classroom. And so that was all the examples that I gave that would help to prepare a student for career search, for job search, for finding employment, retaining employment. These are all of these on that side are linked positively with a successful career route post-graduation. So it's really part of the importance of the conversation that we're having today. So my last few slides, I'm going to just show you some of the resources that we have. So there will be, I think, question Q&A in probably about 5 or 10 minutes, 5 minutes or so. And I see stuff in the chat, so we will get to that afterwards. And I know that my colleague is happily answering along, I think, to anybody who has questions. So you all have a copy of the PowerPoint as well. And this, all the links should be clickable. If not, I think my email is in there as well, so you could find me if you need any more information. So we have a parents page. We also have a new students page, which I should have linked there, but I can find it I'll put it in the chat afterwards, which has basically all of the information, kind of like our top tips for students for CaPS. We have where to find a job and how to find a job. We also have videos on our front page of our website that show students how to use the platforms that we have going. And it's really like an orientation video for undergraduates and graduate students that are really simple and helpful. So there's also ways there if they're kind of lost and not really sure how to use the platforms, there's videos that can walk them through. We have the My Involvement platform, which I'm going to talk about afterwards as well. I put in the Dobson Center for Entrepreneurship, our destination survey, which will be updated probably in the next year or so. Our experiential learning website. So here's a lot of information about experiential learning at McGill and who our partners across the university are. And then the Skills 21 website, which we do in collaboration with teaching and learning services. So there's tons of workshops and opportunities for students to gain different types of skills through that website as well, on top of what we offer here at Career Planning Service. So the first one I have up here is My Future. So this is our platform for searching for jobs. So students can go look there for jobs on and off campus, as well as internships. It is also the same platform that a student can use to log in and sign up for one of our wonderful workshops. And they will use and we use this platform. We used to do online booking for advisors, but now it's done through our front office. So the platform has multi-functions. Trying to think if I'm missing anything important about that. No. Okay. The next one I have on here is our McGill Mentor Program. So this is a really great program that's run through our office where students can connect with a McGill alumni. And that would be done through our office. So they would be filling out a form and they get to select from McGill alumni profiles, and then they get matched with a mentor in an industry that they would be interested in learning about. And I think it's a 2-month commitment where they take time to meet virtually or perhaps in person and get to know what it's like to be in that job, let's say, for example. So it's a really great program that we're highly promoting, much to the dismay of my coordinator, because it's putting more work on her plate, but it's a really great program, and I'm going to speak a little bit about that again before we end today. The next program or platform that we use is the My Involvement program platform. So the My Involvement platform is really, it's an online tool, okay, that McGillians are referred to, and it facilitates the promotion of on-campus activities to help students find opportunities. So here is where a lot of these skill development workshops would be found. Student groups are found through through this platform, and so they would register on there. And then if it's registered through there, they actually can get what is called a co-curricular record. So this is a student record, and it's signed by our Director of Student Services, or the Executive Director of Student Services at the end. So at the end of their degree here, they can print it out as an additional document, kind of like their transcript, indicating all of the participation in activities, workshops, student groups. They could be doing pathways, skills pathways that they're doing outside of the classroom. And it's a great document as well, because you can use that to basically take the skills that you may have learned in that and transfer it over to your CV. So we really encourage students to participate. It's also a great way for them to sign up for things and make friends, meet new people, have fun. There's so many of them that are really interactive and fun. So that's just to give you a little bit of information on that platform, so they can go in there and search for things, register for things, and then anything that gets registered that is in there, they will get it on what is called their co-curricular record, which could be printed out at any time, but also great to have when you're graduating. The last one I have here is McGill Connect. So this is run through our through alumni relations. It's their new platform where students can gain exposure. It's kind of like what we would use for an informal mentoring, not necessarily a program, but they can learn about different industries because they connect with alumni directly through this platform, and they can chat with them. They can ask for advice. They can find grad school, people who went to a certain grad school that they're interested in a program. It's kind of like LinkedIn, but it's specific for McGill alumni. So it's a great tool that we work with in conjunction with our young alumni, with Alumni Association. So that's, I think it should be linked here. So you would be able to, or you can just Google McGill Connect and it should take you there. Now, before we end, I'm almost done. I have something to ask of you now. How can you help us at McGill CaPS? So it's great for us if you are an employer that's looking to hire students, whether they're part-time as they're going through their degree or offering an internship, a paid internship, or if you are ready to hire and recruit graduates. So we have a web page. I have, and we have an associate director of industry liaison. So she would be working with employers. So if you're looking to hire through your company, through your workplace, please look at us, and we would be happy to walk you through that if you're interested. We also do career fairs, and we do networking events with employers. So that's just something that I would like to share with you. Obviously, I spoke about our mentor program. We are looking for mentors. If you are a McGill alumni yourself and you would like to be a mentor to our young McGillians, we would love to see you participate in our program. We have a form you can fill out, and we would get you set up with that. It's all done. We have guidebooks. We have a great coordinator who would coach you through any questions you had, but we are looking for McGill alumni to become mentors. If you know anybody else from McGill who you think would be a great mentor as well, please let them know about our program. Do you have an interesting career path? Have you had an interesting career path? Would you like to be a speaker at one of our events? We host many events and panels that highlight how people got to where they are. We have trendy, we look for trends in the labor market as well. So what's hot? What are the students interested in? What student groups are coming to us and say, I want to work with, somebody in this field. Can you help us? So obviously we want to connect with our employers and with our alumni, and if there's somebody out there who would really love to come and present for us, we're definitely interested in collaborating. And then again, we also have a job shadowing event every March, I believe, so in the winter, where we had students going into workplaces. We've also done them virtually throughout the pandemic. It's extremely popular, so that's another opportunity for you to help us, CaPS. We do it all in association with alumni as well. So we work really well together, and we are trying to keep all these programs flowing because these are those opportunities, those experiential learning opportunities that we want to be able to offer to all our students in some shape or form, so that they can have something to put on a CV and say that I had an experience, that I have a skill that I've gained, or that now I know a little bit more about what I want to do. Okay, so last slide, and then I'm going to questions. I'm looking at the time, and yep, I'm doing well. So key workshop messages, really quickly. You really do have a crucial role, okay, as a parent, as a carer, as somebody who's here because you have a student at McGill, in terms of their career development, and they're building those skills and getting them career ready, okay? Keep in mind that career development is a lifelong journey. Some of you are probably going through it still. I know we all of us are. We have plans change, we try something, we take a risk, all that sort of thing. It's part of it, okay? It's normal and it's part of it. The value of career conversations. So the value of this conversation with you is super important. And hopefully you can take from that and feel a little bit more comfortable about having those types of conversations with your student. Engaging young people where they are at in life. It's really important too to talk to them about what it feels like to be in that stage of life. And not always the easiest conversation when we're talking with young adults, but it really is important to kind of remember that as you're having these conversations. And then it's about being equipped with the information and the resources that are available. So knowing where to go to help them, or reminding them that they can come to us and we will help them. And even our front desk, you know, they know everything that is going on. And so even if they were just a walk in the door, somebody would be able to answer something right away in terms of supporting them if they have questions about anything that's career related, or not, if they need help in the building or they need help seeing some, you know, getting a referral to somewhere else. That's what we're here for within student services. So that's it from me for now. I really appreciate everybody coming and listening today. I will take questions if there are not questions that haven't been answered. Now, I believe you all have access to the chat and have been chatting. I am going to see, I'm going to go, oh, okay. Questions. Okay. I don't know if they got repeated. Okay. Is guidance on specific skill sets related to the major provided in order to conform to industry requirements? Yes, as much as we're aware, we have also a resource person who works with us. So if there are things that, let's say, we don't know about because it's not necessarily one of my advisors, something that they might be fully knowledgeable on, we can get more information as needed. My student is an introvert. We actually have a workshop for introverts. I would encourage that student, if you feel like your student is an introvert or just shy or just, you know, not the easiest to pull out of their shell, all of our online workshops are on Zoom, and they can have their camera off and they can just listen. So they don't even have to be actively participating. Obviously, we do try through the chat, but they can just sit and so they can sign up. So any of the ones that are virtual, they can sign up and just listen. Obviously, if it's in person, we're going to be expecting a little bit more. Also, a one-on-one appointment with an advisor is a great suggestion, because they're going to get that personal attention, and the advisors are so well qualified in terms of answering and adapting to students as they come in and what their needs are. Are the networking opportunities on campus and or via an alumni network that's easily accessible? Yes, we will have some online this year. We will have some in person this year. Career fairs are virtual right now, but it depends. I think it's going to depend on the year. And a lot of it is easily accessible. We've really flipped to having everything virtual for the last year. So, you know, we're going to have to go with the flow and see how things go. But right now they're, you know, with alumni, you can go through McGill Connect, and the mentor program can still be done virtually. So there are a lot of opportunities for ease of access. Co-op programs, I can't answer that. There are lots of opportunities though, especially in some programs, but I unfortunately I can't answer that. Yes, we help find jobs outside of Canada. Obviously, if it really depends when the students come in. We work really closely with International Student Services as well. So when it comes to certain questions and answers about visas and things like that, we need to make sure of the information, and we encourage the students to really figure out what they can or cannot do depending on if they are an international student. But post-graduation, yes, if they're returning to their country of residence, then we can support them through that. Yes, there are international companies, US companies, companies across Canada that do recruit at McGill. So there are a vast array of employers that come to us with opportunities in terms of internships as well. Sometimes we get we get different types of internships that could lead them to opportunities outside of Canada and outside of Quebec. Yes, we do administer assessments. So the student in question would have to actually come and have a first appointment with an advisor to make sure that this is something that they really choose to do or not. And then they would set up a second appointment to do an aptitude or vocational testing assessment. Okay, but it is available. How is CaPS different from the career services offered as part of the course, say a master's degree? How do both differ, and should the student consult? Some faculty have their own career service built in. Some degree programs have a course that's based on, that will have a career component to it because it's a specific industry and perhaps that person has a lived experience and can give a little bit more to that. It doesn't mean that they can't come to CaPS for more support or different support. CaPS is great because if they need a CV reviewed, we have people here to do that on a regular basis, where they may not get that sort of thing that's offered, that sort of one-on-one support that's offered, through a course. Okay. Yes, we work with employers and first-year students for internships, and we haven't had a new program last year that was a micro experience program, and it was targeting first-year students. So we are making more efforts to get students those types of first job experiences, and trying to get them between year 0 and year 2. I'm running out of time, I think. 5 minutes. Okay, let's go. I can't answer any study abroad questions, unfortunately. You'd have to look that up on the website or go straight to wherever that is. I encourage that as an experience, but I don't have the proper information to answer those questions. I apologize. I must have mistakenly said that, but no, CaPS services and meetings with advisors are for students only, so not for parents and students. You as the parent are encouraged to guide them to come see us. So remind them that we're here, but no, we're here for the students to be seen one-on-one. Yes, for the mentor program, the question was, can you connect with different mentors to explore different areas? Yes, you can have more than one mentor. So you can go through the program and try meeting with a mentor in a specific industry, and then you could reapply and get connected with somebody else. Is guidance on specific skill sets related to major provided in order to conform to the industry requirements? Oh, I think these are the same ones repeated. Sorry, hold on. I'm going to scroll down. Oh, summer internships. Oh, I think it was answered. I had one more question, I believe. Give me a second. Do you recommend that I start having the conversation with my student about prepping for their CV and LinkedIn profile now in the first year, or wait a bit? Of course, I recommend. It doesn't mean they have to have something right away, but I would get them to start writing down everything that they've kind of participated in. Did they do volunteer work in high school? Did they, did they have a summer job this summer? Like, write that, to start writing it down, because we forget these opportunities that we had, or that we did. Oh yeah, I taught piano because I replaced my teacher while she was on vacation. Write that down. So these are the types of things, yes, definitely. And they can start a LinkedIn page if they want. We offer a great workshop on how to do that, so tell them to look out for that. Maybe they just want to attend the workshop to see what it's about, and maybe next year they're going to start to build it, or before they start looking for a summer job, that sort of thing. How about help on providing part-time on-campus jobs? So students can apply for work study. So there's lots of things that they can do to look for on-campus jobs. We post them. They can also look on the McGill website. So there is a McGill website through HR as an external applicant. They can look for student positions there, okay? Or they might see it in our job platform, and then they're going to be probably told to go and apply over there. There's also work study opportunities for students who would like to apply for a work study kind of, it's a funding. So there are definitely, I think that got answered, sorry. Yeah, so I think that was it. That was my last one. I'm just doing a quick scan up. Yeah. So thank you everybody for attending today and hearing from us at CaPS. We are located in the Brown building, so the Student Services building. We're on the second floor. As soon as you walk up the stairs, we're right there. So we're very obvious. We can't wait to have students back in the building. As most people around here, the energy, even though it was pouring rain yesterday, was hopping in the building as the students came in to discover McGill and the services, and it felt great, and they were super happy to be here. So just remember that you have a big influence on your student, your child, and that you are a career ally in this, and we are here to also help support you supporting them. So thank you so much for your time today, and hopefully we will see your student on campus. Thank you.